Arman Tsarukyan took the first round against Dan Hooker. In round 2, he got the takedown, landed some ground and pound, worked to mount position, and then got the choke. With 1:27 left in the round, he got the tap. Ian Machado Gary wins the unanimous decision over Bilal Muhammad, 30-27, 30-27, 29-28, improving his UFC record to 10-1.
Bilal couldn't take me down, so Islam, you try to take me down. I'm telling you now, I'm the best in the world, and you have a duty to defend that belt against the best welterweight on the planet, and you're looking at him. It's Ian Machado Gary. You come into my division, then you show up wherever you want in the world, and I'll be there. And I'm taking that throne from you, and I'm ending that continuous streak. You're done. There is nobody getting in the way of me and my future and me and my dreams. So sign the contract, and I will see you soon.
Volkan Oezdemir lives up to his nickname No Time. Another fast finish for him, another knockout finish for him. He knocked out Alonzo Menafield 1:27 into the contest. Miktabek Oralbai knocks out Jack Hermansson in the first round. Successful debut for Miktabek in the welterweight division. Unsuccessful debut for Jack Hermansson, dropping down from 185. Now he's been knocked out 2 fights in a row. Waldo Cortez Acosta, who took the fight just on a couple days' notice against Gaziev, knocks him out in the first round. Waldo Cortez Acosta, in the running for Fighter of the Month, got KO on November 1 and a KO on November 22. Kyoji Horiguchi had a successful return to the UFC after 9 years away. He was en route to winning a decision over Tagir Ulanbeka, but he dropped him with a big shot in round 3 and was able to choke him out. Luke Riley lost the first round against Bogdan Grad, but he came back in round 2 and knocked him out. A left hand dropped Bogdan Grad, who survived for a little bit, but then he was hammered with more shots on the ground and got KO'd. Luke Riley wins his UFC debut and remains undefeated.
I can't describe the emotions now. As of now, Bogdan, he's solid, he's strong. He came out, took his arm, defended, and yeah, what we said was going to happen happens.
Nicholas Dalby wins a split decision over Sajid Isagakmaev.
Not too much pressure, but that was the stuff I had going on in my life. Made me put a lot of pressure on myself in the last 2 fights, probably too much. I felt like I was obligated to do it. I had to do it. I didn't do it because I wanted to. And considering that, there's way more easy ways to make money than to put, basically two paydays. I have 2 paydays a year, roughly. When I do this, that's just too much pressure.
Alex Perez looked like he might be en route to winning a decision, but in round 3, he got caught in the guillotine by Asu Almabayev and got tapped out. Abdul Rahman Yakiayev was able to drop Cerqueira very quickly and then sunk in the rear naked choke just as fast and gets the tap 33 seconds into the contest. He remains undefeated at 8-0. Alexander Topuria wins a decision over Beksat Almahan, 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. 5-fight win streak now for Topuria.
I had some vision in my head, and when I see how the fight begins, I feel myself, let's say not comfortable, but I see some space where I find some shots. So I was very patient. So yeah, I just developed the fight just because I had patience.
Ismail Nardiev gets the first round knockout over Ryan Loder. Big right hand does him in. Back-to-back losses for Ryan Loder via knockout. Ismail Nardiev is 2-1 since returning to the UFC.
That's actually what we planned, and I was actually about to go crazy from the beginning, like I always do, but my coaches, they were talking with me. They said, hey, it's a strong wrestler. He's gonna shoot at you, from the beginning. So, take it easy. Just do some counter shots. So I was actually waiting for counter shots, but he wasn't throwing anything. So I thought, okay, then I have to take this action. And that's actually exactly what we planned.
Nurullo Aliyev wins a decision over Shamrock, improving his record to an undefeated 11-0. Freeman wins a decision over Merrick. A low output in this fight by both guys. He outstruck him 13-12, 16-8, and 16-4. This was the first event in Qatar for the UFC, the 3rd country in the Middle East to host a UFC event. The others 2 were UAE and Saudi Arabia. This is the 4th trip to the Middle East in 2025 for the UFC and the 25th UFC event in the Middle East. He went from looking down at Tank to looking up at one.
That's a bar.
JDM versus Makhachev looked a lot like DDP versus Hamzat, and DDP sees the same thing. It seemed like Islam had an answer for everything JDM threw at him. That fight looked a lot like myself and Chimaev. These guys have a style that needs to be figured out. These Russian-style wrestlers just have something above the rest. They've proven very successful in that total dominant performance by Islam. There was a lot of parallels between those 2 fights. Fans called both fights boring control fest, little ground and pound, no real finish threat. Turned out to be one-sided 5-round shutouts. Takedowns came easy and kept coming, and opponents couldn't get up, killing all suspense.
So kill the suspense already.
I thought Silva was fighting Weidman. Weidman is injured and out of that, so Silva versus Woodley is the replacement fight boxing match on December 19th, co-main event of the Jake versus Joshua card. Silva opens as a -165 favorite. I thought he'd be even a bigger favorite, but he is older. However, it's 50 versus 43. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. Silva sometimes plays around a lot in there and doesn't give a shit, so that could be an issue losing some rounds, but he should win this boxing match. TKO and DoorDash announced official partnership across the WWE and UFC. Part of it, they say, is UFC will offer DoorDash the flexibility to integrate UFC talent throughout its marketing efforts, providing a stage for UFC athletes and personalities to serve as ambassadors. UFC fighter Dennis Bazookia doesn't like it, so the fighters get dick. We get to put a DoorDash logo on our shorts. I want free DoorDash, I hate cooking when my fiance does it for me. Bazookia also laments about how he wishes they could have sponsors. If fighters had our own sponsors on our shorts, we'd make so much more money. I made more from regional fights, 20 to 30K cash because of sponsors. Bazookia hasn't fought all year other than fighting a fan at UFC 310, which got him suspended for a little bit of time, but that suspension is over. He's free to fight again, but doesn't have a fight lined up. His last fight was a split decision loss to Francis Marshall. Prior to that, he knocked out Connor Matthews. Coming soon to the podcast of Dominic Cruz is Cody Garbrandt, so he's bringing in all his rivals to kick off his podcast. Faber, Dillashaw, and now Garbrandt. Does he have the heart to take it one step further and bring in Keith Peterson? We shall see. Maybe. Recently, Keith Peterson was a guest on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
He smells like alcohol and cigarettes.
Dylan Dennis reposted, "Stop being a P. Dana White, make it happen. Dylan Dennis versus John Pork, give the people what they want." It won't happen, but that could be pretty interesting. I'd have to go with Chanko. I think you keep that fight standing, outstrike him, maybe get a KO. Dennis takes on Taylor December 20th in Dubai in Misfits. Chanko doesn't even have a single fight in the UFC or one scheduled, but he's more popular than 95% of the roster.
48 hours notice after receiving a call from the UFC Friday morning, Ewing agreed to the bout, began cutting the necessary weight, and flew cross-country to officially weigh in and compete on Saturday night. After 3 competitive rounds, it went to the judges, and Ethan took home the decisive win. 5 days later, this bantamweight newcomer was already back at work. Fans, please join us in congratulating and welcoming Ethan Ewing.
In LFA, Joe Taylor knocked out Aspen Ladd's brother Shaler Ladd and then retired. Quillen Salkild got a tattoo symbolizing a bakery on his foot because right before he used that foot to knock out Nasrat Hakparas, the last thing John Anik said was, "They own a bakery."
His parents put him in training because he was overweight, but they own a bakery.
And now that's immortalized on his foot. Salkild had a really good debut year in the UFC. In just over 8 months, he beat Jubilee, Ashmus, and Nasrat Hakparas. 2 of them were big first-round knockouts. Conor McGregor has been granted permission by the Irish High Court to sue Sky News for defamation. Case stems from an incident outside Dublin courts last November when a Sky News reporter said,
"Mr. McGregor, you're a rapist. What do you think?"
McGregor argues the statement falsely portrayed him as having been convicted of a criminal offense despite no criminal charges ever being brought. On November 20th, the High Court allowed him to serve legal papers on Sky News entities in the UK and Ireland. The defamation case will now proceed. Kyle Dawkins wants to fight Robert Whittaker next. Probably won't happen because he's unranked and Whittaker's ranked number 9, but Dawkins looked really good since returning to the UFC. 2 big wins in 3 months, 43-second KO over Pereira, 50-second sub over Meerschaert. Cup out of the UFC, fought on the regional scene, came back with a vengeance back to the UFC. Tyron Woodley replaces Chris Weidman to take on Anderson Silva in a boxing match December 19th. Yoel Romero claims that he asked for the chance, but I heard the Spider said no. Good luck to both, and I am next. Yoel Romero's won 3 fights over the past year, 1 in bare knuckle boxing, 2 in dirty boxing.
Dirty boxing.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's the problem of having one eye, guys. I just bumped into a guy. He was not very happy. But as you heard, I was very polite about it.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you want to donate, you can via Super Thanks and a link on the main page. Until next time, thank you for watching.